Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
This is Average Jocks Podcast, part of the G-Jam Network.
All right, so little unorthodox episode that we just shot. So we're doing the intro at the end just because we hopped right into the episode because we are so excited. So this week's episode features the one and only Tommy fucking Chong. All right, hope you guys enjoy.
It's being sold. It's being sold on our website. Muff Diver.
Ooh.
And every time I sign one, I laugh. Just it cracks me up. But
Well, when we get off here, we'll have to order one so we can hang it up right next to the Oilers jersey.
Yeah, I got mine hanging up here. I think. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, there it is. Love it.
Yeah, it's.
I won't tell the wife.
Yeah. No. Oh God.
Yeah.
Anyway, you live long enough, you're going to see everything.
Well, I hope to live as long as you, and I hope to have half the stories you have.
Yeah, well, that would be something.
Yeah.
I've been collecting them. Pretty good. Yeah, everything's good.
What's
good.
What's one of the craziest things you ever had somebody bring to you and like sign for them?
I guess their prosthetic leg,
Yeah, why not?
Especially when they take it off in front of you.
Oh,
hey, man,
yeah.
here, will you sign this? Okay. In fact, I said, oh, you can make a bong out of this. And the guy's, oh, that's a good idea. I'm only kidding, man.
Yeah.
Guarantee you there's a YouTube video on how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, we used to sign a lot of girls' titties,
Yeah.
But now the same girls, they're a little older.
Yeah.
And when they want you to sign their titties, it's like, I don't think so.
So
when you're a young guy, titties, that's a big mystery, But as you get older, wow, things change.
They go from titties to knee knockers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So how's Ottawa? What's going on in Canada, man?
Well, the snow's finally melted here, and we're getting ready for playoff hockey right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this episode that we're filming today is actually our episode that releases on 4/20.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So I actually had my wife roll us a J right up at the end of the episode.
Sure. Oh, what a great idea! I gotta light one up too.
Okay, we'll save it for the end of the episode as a cheers. Fuck you! It looks like you already started that.
Get right in there. I love it.
No, I'm not gonna light it up, but someone sent me a whole bunch of these tips. They're
Oh shit!
Okay, yeah.
And the joint just fits inside. Nice. No, I was using these bamboo holders,
Wow.
But these little tips are just perfect for the joint.
Is it like a plastic, like almost like they would have on like the prime time cigars?
No, but they're wood.
Oh
they're made out of
shit!
wood. Yeah, but they're like that prime time cigars.
Okay.
But cigars are bad for you, though. You get heart attacks from that shit.
Yeah.
But
I already smoke and eat like shit, so
Yeah.
I can't have a third strike.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. You'll leave the planet before you get really sick. So don't worry about it. That's the one thing about if you're in poor health. Hey, don't worry, man. You're not long for this planet anyway.
Yeah.
That's good. So you've been smoking for a long time. Like now these days, these kids have these vapes and stuff like that. Like, what do you think of all this stuff? Like, are you still roll a joint, smoke it up, or do you
Oh
like?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I got to tell you, everybody on this planet is an individual, and if you start recognizing that everything, not just everyone, but everything on this planet starts with an individual cell, so they're basically individuals. Then I have a tendency of not really caring about anything else other than my own world that I live in. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so I really don't have uh, I'm trying not to have what they call judge not. Biblically, they'll say judge not, yet ye be judged. Well, there's some really serious messages there. If you can learn to judge not, your life can be so positive.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you judge, usually you're going negative. Other than that, there's nothing to judge. You say, "Oh, that's great. It's wonderful. There's nothing to say." But if you got something to say, then all of a sudden you're like judge and jury,
Mm-hmm.
over something that no one really gives a shit about. So
Yeah.
so so it's a time saver. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning all these things, late in life, but whenever I get a chance, I kind of pass it on. I'm at that guru age, or part of my life, where I want to help the planet as opposed to just be a part of the planet.
Well, I know part of the wisdom that you passed on, I mean, came me and my fiance. I mean, this is not the first time we watched the show, but we'll smoke and we'll watch that '70s show. And Leo
Oh
had
yeah,
so many wise life lessons that he taught.
yes,
The kids in the show that can be applied to real day life, and it was all
yeah,
carefree and let shit go and
yeah,
kind of good. It's coming to playoff hockey. Control
Yeah.
what you can control.
Yeah.
Let go of
well,
the stuff you can't, and breathe. Life will keep
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, yeah, the amazing thing. You let the planet keep turning. You don't try to interfere with it. Yeah, just sort of cling to Earth and hang on and enjoy the ride. That's what I find. But I've been, yeah, we've been sort of evolving in a very positive way because that AI, the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, scares the shit out of me.
Well, it shouldn't.
Okay,
It
well, if you
shouldn't.
say it doesn't, I won't. Doesn't scare me anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll
Okay.
tell you why. I'll tell you why. The AI, you see, when you're honest, you have the world at your fingertips. The world is yours, basically, when you're honest. Because when you're honest, if there's any flaws in whatever you're doing, honesty makes you take care of that right away. You know what I mean? Uh, like again, going back, say the Christian teachings. Jesus said that don't come to the altar or don't come praying to me if you've got a problem with your brother or with anybody. In other words, you can't have two thoughts in your mind at the same time. You see, you can't have a grudge, and then have a compliment at the same time, one or the other, you know.
Yeah.
And so if you got a grudge or if you're bitching or someone pisses you off, well, then you're in a state that can't be altered. Uh, and but if you lose that mentality of judging, like, oh, he did me wrong, or I should have been there. Like, imaginary hurts. It will stop your peace from happening, because, like Jesus said, when he died, he left the disciples. He says, "My peace I give unto you," and that what he meant by that was the peace that passes understanding. In other words, it's not planned peace. I'm going to be mean with this guy, but I'm going to be nice with that guy. It's like peace in your heart for everybody. And when you can achieve that, now you can go and ask for additional knowledge, because the only really good prayer that does any good is a prayer for wisdom, because knowledge and wisdom will get you past any obstacle that you're going to face. And sometimes that knowledge really is shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't keep your mouth shut.
You know what? I didn't realize my wife was telling me wisdom when she was saying that. I really did not. I did not know. Thank you, honey.
Well, they will tell you the truth a lot sooner than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
The wife effect. Yeah. But anyway, I'm in a good space now. I've got a lot of things figured out, and right now I'm on the bunny hill. I tell people, especially cameos, when they're getting old, they start bitching about being old. And I said, instead of bitching about it, I said, enjoy it. And a lot of them goes, how do you enjoy it? I said, well, for one thing, no one wants to listen to you, so you can save your breath. You don't have to worry about talking to anybody, because no one listens to you anyway. So one thing, now you're going to be an observer, you see. And as a grandfather, that's the most fun, because now I sit and I watch my grandkids, especially my little granddaughter. She's going to be 3 in a couple of months. She, when Grandpa's there, she sees me out of the corner of her eye. Okay. And now she knows that she's got an audience. And I don't have to do anything. I just sit there and smile and watch her. And then she performs for me. The other day she did a little dance, and she had it choreographed and planned out. And it was the whole thing. And it was just for me. And I took a video of it, and it's so beautiful. But that's the perks of being old. Because now I tell people, when you get a certain age, it's like skiing. You're no longer worried about moguls. You're no longer worried about people running into you. You're no longer about getting down the hill real fast. You're on the bunny hill.
Yeah.
And
just
so
coast in.
You coast in and enjoy the scenery, enjoy the ride. And where you headed for? And every time I went skiing, my favorite thing was to go into the snack bar.
Fucking preaching to the choir, buddy.
I mean, I don't have to be skiing to go to the snack bar. I'll go to the snack bar any time of the day.
I went to the ski, but not brought skis.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're looking for, and that's, but you've earned it. Like when you're skiing, and that's what old age is like too. When you get past all the bullshit, now you earned the rest. If you made it this far, like I have, now you can kick back and enjoy the ride, the rest of the ride, Yeah. And that's what it is. It's just a ride, and it never stops. It's like an amusement park that you can just keep going over the rides over and over again until you get tired, and then you evolve, and then you go on to another ride, and that's what life is.
So I just want to, we like to go in chronological order. So we did the opposite a bit. We're talking about your old age. But I want to talk about your roots and where you started up. So obviously, we know from our Wikipedia searches, Tommy Chong was born in Edmonton, Alberta.
Yep.
and then you moved to Calgary, and then at one point you ended up with your band in Vancouver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So us being a hockey podcast, we wanted to just start off by knowing, where does your allegiance lie in terms of favorite hockey team?
Well, for some reason, I got hooked into the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Jesus Christ,
Tommy, come
Tommy.
on.
I'm sorry, but I have to tell you that what's the guy that was fighting on the Maple Leafs all the time?
Well, what era or what year?
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, Ty Domi?
Yeah, Ty
There, Ty. It's Ty. Ty. My favorite thing is watching Ty. He's in the penalty box, and some avid fan or enemy leans over.
Oh, from Philly, the Philly fan.
Yeah, he starts trying to hit Ty. Ty pulls him down, pulls him into the booth, and beats the shit out of the guy. I was a fan from then on, man. I said, and Toronto's had such horrible, it gets close, but no cigar ever.
Every year.
Every year. So do you think this is the year? Are they finally going to make it past the first round, Tom?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. It's in Maple Leafs, man.
Yeah.
They could fuck up a wet dream,
That's hard to fuck up.
That's awesome.
It is. But I'll tell you, I played hockey with Bobby Hull Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, one time, this very famous architect from Toronto, Frank Gehry. He designed a million things, L.A. Music Hall and that. Well, he's from Canada. He's from Toronto, and so Frank. We were at a party one time, and Frank overheard me talking about being in a Huff and Puff league. And so Frank, he was in his 60s then, or 70s, and I was in my 60s, and so we started our own team, our own Huff and Puff team, with Frank's. He funded the whole thing, and so we were playing hockey, and because he was famous, and that, so Bobby Hull Jr. come down to the practice one time. Well, these guys, the pros, when they skate, I mean, they're going a zillion miles an hour, and so Bobby Hull's coming down the ice, and he's got a puck. Well, I'm from Edmonton and Calgary, and when you play hockey, if a guy's got a puck coming towards you and you're on the other team, you step in.
Oh yeah.
And so I stepped in, and Bobby Hull was so surprised, man. He said, "What?" Because he was coming down like 80 miles an hour, and you can get hurt just by the wind whipping by. But I stepped in, poke checked him, and just like like the old hockey player that I used to think I was, and it was fun, man. We had a great time. But they called us cones because we were like those cones that they sit on the ice. Yeah, that's what we were called. Frank and I, we were the cones.
Hey,
because we couldn't really
to the choir, brother.
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys have been through that too, huh?
It was in my early 20s, not my 60s. So I think you're still ahead of me.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't play competitive. I played hockey.
League hero.
I was a house league hero, but I play hockey I play hockey once a week still, and I usually partake before, and I'm flying high before my feet even hit the ice. I need to tell this story. It was about a month ago. My wife bought some edibles, and I was like, okay, well, the whole edible was 100 milligrams. I said, I'll just bite the corner. It's like 5 hours before I gotta play. I'm like, I'll be okay. I'll have a fucking sandwich. I'll be good to go. I eat that corner, and Tommy, I shit you not, I went into fucking outer space, and I did not come down until about 11 o'clock that night. And I played hockey. I couldn't feel my feet. Still played, but couldn't.
But you played.
How'd you do,
were you a defense or are you a forward?
It depends on the week. I usually play defense. If I'm that high, I play
Yeah,
defense just
yeah,
because I mean
Less
for
skating.
safety reasons, I don't want to, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, hey, I still played. I still strapped on the skates, I guess, right? So
yeah, yeah. Oh, listen, when we did the Huff and Puff League, I can remember I think maybe once or twice where I played and I wasn't stoned. You know, yeah. Because usually, man, that was the whole thing. The whole
yeah.
idea is to get high and get out there and have fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, I we had so much fun. Oh God, I can't tell you, man. Especially in LA, because around that time it was 80, 90 degrees, and we had a kind of a mini drought going like we always have, and so it was hot as hell outside. And get in a nice cool rink for a couple of hours. Oh man, that was heaven. It was heaven. I loved hockey. Yeah, it's my game.
Always when obviously you've been smoking your whole life. Was there ever a time where it was like hard for you to get weed? Like, or has it always been like, you always had somebody that can get it for you?
No, I got to tell you. In fact, I was telling this guy I was with last night, a very wealthy guy. He asked me about, you know, was weed hard to get when I was in jail, and I had to tell him the truth. And the truth is that everybody was trying to uh, get me violate my thing there,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so all the snitches they had weed to give me. So when I was in jail, I got offered almost hourly. Someone would come
Wow.
up with, "Hey, you want to get high?" And I had to resist it because I knew had they detected even a little bit on me, that would have justified them putting me in jail. And
Yeah.
so I never smoked for 3 years
Yeah.
because a year before I went to jail, I was on pre-trial probation. And then I was in jail for 9 months and I never touched it. And then I got out of jail and I was on post-trial or sentence probation for another year, which I never touched. I never touched it. But the minute I got off probation, I lit up a big, beautiful fatty. Then I went for a walk on the beach, and because I had the wrong shoes on, I stepped on a log and I almost killed myself because my feet went up in the air and bam. And it was like, it was almost like God saying, okay, you remember how it was before you quit smoking? Okay, you want to smoke again? Okay, now you're back to watching where you step and what kind of shoes you're wearing, dude.
That's that's awesome.
So, just trying to get like a timeline. That was your incarceration was in the middle
Oh
of.
three,
Pardon?
oh three.
But that was in like the middle of that '70s show, right? And that's why you took a bit of
Yeah,
a hiatus.
that's why exactly. And they didn't write me out. They said, I just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then when I got out, they wrote me back in. They
Yeah.
wanted to do a segment while I was in jail, but of
Oh,
course the government wouldn't allow that. But yeah, they were they were ready to shoot me in jail.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Leo just went for a little walk.
Yeah,
That's
went
Yeah.
for a walk and got lost. I mean, and it'd be perfect. Like,
it's
and
Leo. It
like
was fantastic character.
when you were doing that character, did they give you like a script, or they were just like, just go with what you want?
No, they wrote every word I said.
No way. Oh
Really?
wow. Okay.
Isn't that shows you the writing, man? The
That's
writing.
crazy.
I ad libbed one line. I said 2.5 inches. That was the only line. I was with the tool man guy, yeah, and we were measuring something for Kitty, and I thought it would be funny if I said 2.5 inches or something. Anyway, it was the only line I ever ad libbed, and the writers were happy. But no, the writers on that show were so good because the good writers you don't see them.
Yeah.
You just see the character. You don't notice the writing. And that's why a lot of that's writing is like almost like a invisible job. You don't see him, you don't hear him, but it's the writing that makes everything, and especially that 70s show.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm up for we did the 90s show. Did you see the little
Yeah,
I did.
it was
I
great.
did.
I loved it. I knew they were going to your house. As soon as they were like, I know somebody, I said, it's going to be Leo. And I was so excited.
And anyway, they're putting that bid up for an Emmy. So this year,
Unreal.
I'm going to be going to the Emmys.
Hey,
as a nominated guest to star on that 90s show.
Well, you know what? You just, as long as they don't talk about your wife and you don't slap the host, you'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, you should have heard the bit I did after that slap. Cheech and I had to perform, and so right after the slap, and then I'm on stage, and I told everybody, I said, if I was Chris Rock and Will Smith come up and slap me like he did, I would fall down like I was dead and just lay there.
Yeah.
And then have the cops and have the ambulance and have everybody come over and I would fake it like I was dead, like dead or concussion. I mean, my eyes would be in the back of my head. I would have I would have had Will Smith in jail that night.
Yeah.
In fucking jail. And then then after, then probably sue his ass,
Yeah.
or sue the Academy, or you sue somebody.
Sue somebody. Get money out.
I mean,
there would be blood to pay,
Yeah.
But Chris Rock, man, he's a sweet guy.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
He's a together guy.
Team Rock.
For sure.
For sure.
And I'll tell you what happened to Will. Will, he's more of a method actor, whether he wanted to be or not. He ends up, that's what he is. And so when he played that character, the girl's father, he was this protective matriarch, or patriarch, the dad. And so when he couldn't get out of character, and that's the trouble with the method acting. I don't know if you guys remember what was that show Dustin Hoffman was in, where Marathon Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that movie? And so Dustin Hoffman, before he would shoot a scene, he would run a mile or so, because he was about a marathon runner. And then Sir Laurence Olivier was listening to Dustin Hoffman talk about how he prepared for a role. And Sir Laurence Olivier says to Dustin, after he heard him talk about what he did, so Laurence Olivier says, "Why don't you try acting?" because that's what actors get paid to do. You don't have to be a marathon runner. You have to act like a marathon runner. And that's what Will Smith, when you get into those characters, that's a danger, especially when you're like playing serial killers and those kind of guys.
Yeah.
If you don't have a way of separating your part from your real life, there's some serious shit can go down. It like you said, try acting.
Yeah.
Because that's being in character. What is that? Because that's a lot of people talk about Cheech and Chong, our success. Our first movie surprised the hell out of Hollywood for sure. It surprised everybody, but it was one of those 1 in a million kind of movies where it cost nothing to make. It took hardly any time to make.
That was Up in Smoke, right?
Yeah. And yet it became the biggest selling movie of that year.
I love it. Still watch it.
And yeah, because There was very little rehearsal.
Yeah.
Everything that we did was on camera, and there was no mystery about it. Just be funny.
Yeah.
Just be funny and have the cops be funny. Now, I wrote more than what was shown, but we had the right kind of filmmakers, and they got they captured the feeling of this low budget comedy, and so the excesses that I wrote never quite made it, because I wrote when we got high that the smoke would drift through the air, and birds were getting high, and airline pilots were getting high, and everybody was smoking out, and and the whole world changed. Well, they did as much as they could, with the film, but no. Getting back to the writers, it's no ad libbing with
Really?
that 90s show or the 70s show.
Yeah. Also, too, I'm a big Trailer Park Boys fan. That's my favorite show.
Oh yeah.
Love those guys. So, like, how did that, like, I know you were in the one episode where they came to your house and you and Ricky or Rob Wells had the smoke
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Like, how did they just like come to you like, hey, because like they'd already had Snoop Dogg on the show at that point, I believe. So
Yeah.
like when they were like the rule was that he had to outsmoke you.
Yeah.
Like, how was that? Like, again, I'm assuming like you were smoking real weed. I don't know if they were. Like, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
no, it was all real weed. And what I did, because I'm the instigator, that's why Cheech and I broke up, because Cheech had to do all the crazy shit that I would think about. And he thought about it too. He loved it. He loves making people laugh. But no, when it came to the bong thing, I kept making the guy smoke. I kept handing him the bong, and he had no way of saying, "Oh no, I've had enough." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He kept toking, and he handed it to me. I said, "I'd take a little toke, then hand it back to him," because it means nothing. This competition. It seems like a natural thing to do. Like people are always asking me, "What's your favorite strain?" Again, judge not.
Yeah.
My favorite. They say, "What's your favorite strain?" And I tell everybody, I haven't found it yet. I'm still looking.
Still testing it out. Still testing them
Yeah.
all out.
You know
That's
what,
what
Tommy?
it is.
My favorite strain is free.
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a mooch. That's okay.
That's okay. If I can smoke for free, I'll
I
smoke
mean,
for
for
free.
the amount of weed that you do smoke, I mean, you're not really a mooch. You're
Well,
like,
when we were in high school, we'd smoke in Adam's room and we'd blow it out the window so his mom wouldn't know. And I
Yeah.
remember the first time I ever got high was with Adam, and like he's all like, again, he didn't ease me into it. He's all like, packs me a bowl, hands me the bong.
That's the way you do it.
He holds the bong to my face, lights it,
Yeah.
stuck in. And then I remember getting super high. 15 minutes later, he drives me back home, and I'm paranoid as fuck. And I'm like, my parents definitely know I'm higher than a kite right now. He's like, have a good one, dude. See you later. And I was just like, holy fuck.
hey, we're still friends, so I didn't kill you. I didn't kill you.
And so what happened? What happened?
Did you go home? Did you go home and sleep? I don't remember what you did.
I went home. I don't remember what I did. I just remember trying to avoid my parents for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And then maybe a couple months later, I found my dad's yearbooks from high school. And in the yearbooks, it had all the prices of what he was paying for pot, what he was paying for hash, what a beer
Your dad.
was. Yeah. So then I'm just like, I felt a little less awkward. I'm just like, okay, my dad was a bit of a stoner in high school. And then one of my dad's friends from high school, I'm friends with his son. So we would smoke at his place. And his dad found one of our half-smoked joints.
Yeah.
And the next day, we found it fully smoked in the ashtray in the garage. And my dad picking him up. Obviously, he texted my dad, and my dad on the way home, he's like, "Make sure you're just not doing anything other than pot or hash. Like just fine.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. My dad, he was Chinese, and then when we started the nightclubs, he ended up working at the club, bartending and all sorts of things. And then one time after club party, there was a big long table and the joints being passed down the road. And I think someone was filming it, maybe. But anyway, when the joint got to the end of the table, there was my dad, and he took a very expert toke, And then he told us that when he was a kid, he went to China. His dad wanted to marry him off to a Chinese girl. So when he turned 16, he got sent back to China. And when he was back there, he ended up smoking some opium,
Oh, shit.
and so he was a seasoned old one timer.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
dad's
What's the timer
only
for his life?
vice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's only vice was gambling. He was a gambler,
Okay.
which is why we grew up very poor, because any extra money, he would gamble it away, and as the gamblers do, But actually, I can't complain because I had the best childhood one could have for comedian,
Yeah.
because I was left alone to develop, and when I was really young, my mother got TB, and so she ended up in the sanitarium for 5 years and no visitors. And then I got some kind of pleurisy, lung disease, so I ended up in the hospital for a year. And then when I got out of the hospital, my dad had war injuries from the Second World War, which he was in, and so we had nowhere to live, so we had to be put in the Salvation Army home for orphanage. And so the three of us, who I never saw, my brother and my sister, I never saw the whole time I was there.
Wow.
Because it's not a family unit, they're just, it's an institution. And so I realized, when I went to jail, it was like going home,
Yeah.
because I
mean,
grew
yeah.
up in an institution.
Yeah.
And you adjust immediately, by the way, because I never really had a mom and dad I miss my mommy, my daddy. I never had that in my memory. My earliest memory was in the hospital, and they were nice memories because these nurses would come and cuddle this cute little brown guy, and they would pass me around, and so that was one of my affinities for.
Yeah.
That was my titty obsession, and
Yeah.
so then I went from the hospital into the home, and again, uh, survival. What kids do when they're to survival, they find the big guy to hang with, to be next to, and then he'll keep other kids from being mean to
Yeah.
you, and so that's what I did. But the good and bad thing, when I got to the home, I never really ate breakfast the whole time I was there, because the older kids would grab all the good stuff first, and then there was only the creepy stuff left for the younger kids. And so you didn't have to eat. I didn't eat. And
Yeah.
so I was a skinny little kid all my early life, until I hit high school. And then I started weightlifting because of the football team. And I haven't stopped weightlifting since, man. So once I found weights, I said, this is me. This is what I want, So I've been a bodybuilder ever since.
So what's your max lift?
A deadlift, I was doing close to about 250, close to 300. If I had to, I could do one rep with 300. That was about the max. I never did get into bench press because my arms are too long, and there were certain exercises. My biggest favorite exercise was the waist. I was always trying to get six packs,
Okay.
and because the way I'm built, there's no way it's going to happen. But I kept I kept the stomach from enlarging, and so I got a fairly nice midsection. I had a good back
Mm.
from a lot of kind of country work,
Yeah.
living in the country. But my dream was to go to Gold's Gym in California, Venice
Yeah.
Beach,
Yeah.
and to be a songwriter and live on the beach and go to Gold's Gym. And so I did that. I for a year. Oh no, actually a couple of years. I joined Gold's. I got a nice severance pay from Motown, and we went to California, and I joined Gold's Gym right away. $25 for 3 months.
Fuck,
Wow.
that's a deal.
That's crazy.
That was what it was. And this is Joe Gold, man. And I
Yeah.
met Arnold when I was working out there. Met all the heavies, all the big guys.
All those
And
big guys.
they're all potheads, and we had a great time. And then when Cheech and I started out, we ended up doing a show with Arnold at one of his Mr. Olympia events.
Yeah.
And I think it's filmed somewhere, but it was uh, it was very memorable because uh, we did a bit in our live act called Queer Wars, and it was a takeoff on Star Wars, except everybody's gay. I don't know if you ever saw a movie Still Smoking. Go check it out. Queer Wars is in Still Smoking,
Oh my god.
and and it was like the greatest take on the gay bodybuilding scene, and we did it in front of Arnold's team, and it got screams, literally screams from the audience. They went nuts. It was so funny because in the bit, I'm really I'm looking in the mirror and go, I'm old. I'm so old. I'm crying the blues. We're getting old. We get wrinkles. I'm getting old. And my partner Cheech goes, I wasn't going to give this to you till after the show, but maybe this will cheer you up. And he brings in like it looks like a robot supposed to be. It's like the gay robot, the manservant that will do anything that the guy wants. And so he carries him in, and it's Eric Booster. He was our video cameraman, but he was like an Aryan-looking blonde guy. He looked like a Hitler wet dream. The Hitler Youth. And oh my God, if you get a chance, check it out. Queer Wars on Still Smoking. Did I lose you? Come on. I can't hear you. What happened? Okay, try it now.
Yeah, wait. I think can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Let me
volume
listen
has
up.
got turned up.
Who's the one guy that you or girl, I should say, which it can't just be a guy. The one person that you smoked with that you never thought that would be a big stoner.
Who was that? Yeah, you're right. Who was that? Yeah, it was a big shark. Big shark. And they came over and here, I'll take a hit of that. Who was that? I can't remember now. It was, I can't remember. Well, I know, Arnold,
Yeah.
he was notorious. All the bodybuilders, they had a thing. They would meet at this Zabel Kazuski. He was in our movie Nice Dreams, and he played the gym the owner, not the owner, but that worked in the gym, and he gave me a lot of free T-shirts and in the movie. Zabel. Well, Zabel had a little bachelor pad and a big ass bong in the living room, and the deal was they would put like an eighth into the bowl, and then they light it with a blowtorch, and then whoever could make that bowl explode in the water, they were like the winner, because you need those bodybuilding lungs to do that. And so I remember them all, Dave Draper and Arnold and everybody taking a toke, and everybody's exploding the thing. And then it came to my turn. I took it and went, That was the thing didn't even glow. I just inhaled someone else's smoke that they got out. But hey, you are who you are, especially with the bodybuilders, man. These guys had like 19-inch arms, and and you just, I had so much fun with those guys. There was one, I guess, a couple of years, and then when our movies started making it, and I was still going to Golds, and I put a lot of the bodybuilders in the movie, because they're all actors, because every one of them, they got their extra card or whatever, so I used them all in the movies. Yeah, it was funny. My son and I were watching. I guess Nice Dreams. There's a bit in there where we had the clown. I don't know, the clown trucks were selling weed. Nice Dreams out of the clown trucks. Anyway, in the movie, these cops come up and they shoot out our clown because we kind of surprised them. The clown comes up all surprised, and the cops pull out their guns and shooting. And then the cops want to get it on with Evelyn. And so they're not going. They told us that we can go now. You can go, and I started arguing with them, like as if they were arresting us, and I was arguing, but I'm arguing because they're letting us go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
no.
you.
Okay.
Our mics keep fucking turning off, so we want to make sure you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
Okay.
What was your favorite movie to make? Yeah, you made a lot of good ones.
I guess Still Smoking probably is my favorite, because we played our real selves. We played Cheech and Chong in that, and we got sent to by mistake to a film festival in Amsterdam, where they were honoring
That's a good mistake.
Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton, and so the Dutch called Cheech Mr. Dolly, and they called me Mr. Reynolds. We had some really, really good bits in that movie, and it was actually the last movie. Well, yeah, it was the last real Cheech and Chong movie that we did, and we sort of summed up everything, because we did all the bits that we used to do live. And we never had a chance to do them on screen until Still Smoking. And if we didn't do them, those bits would disappear forever. And now they're on screen forever.
Yeah.
And then Cheech and I did the Corsican Brothers after that, and that was our last movie that we did together.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good.
Perfect. Well, this one connected. Tommy, do you want to just light one up before we let you go?
Sure.
Fucking beauty.
Hell yeah. We don't want to keep you too long.
Nope.
Nice enough to be on here with us. So
Yeah. I
Fucking caught fire on me.
Oh, isn't that nice? I love these little.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fucking look that up where you get those.
Yeah, they're nice. I wish I had a bag, but it's the trouble with me. I throw shit away, and then I don't know where they're from or what they are.
Yeah, no. Normally, my go-to is our buddy actually owns a pot shop in town.
Really?
Yeah, called Pot of Gold.
Now, does he give you free weed, or do you pay for everything?
We get discounts. He actually sponsors the show.
yeah.
There you go.
He gave us the
Yeah.
merch. I guess I should have wore his the merch that he gave us, but oh well. What can you do?
That's a stoner move there.
Just forget.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. Right.
I guess I should have worn. Yeah, I guess I should have worn that merch he wanted me to wear on the show.
You have your pipe around your neck, though. What?
Oh yeah.
Not much ventilation down here. I was fucking living in your cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a not a pipe. Yeah, this is a not a pipe.
This is great.
Yeah, if you would have told me I'd be smoking a joint in my life with Tommy Chong, I would have said, you're fucking high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you never know. That's the way the world works, Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Do you know any other celebrities that are interested or play hockey that we should try and reach out to?
Oh, good question. Good question. Who is it? I met a couple.
This is a different one.
Trying to think who they are now. Who is it? I can't think now. There's what's it? Oh fuck! I can't remember his name. He was a comedian, and he was in a few National Lampoon movies, I believe.
Oh, Chevy Chase.
No, it wasn't Chevy Chase.
Was it his fucking cousin there, Randy?
What's
no,
that?
What's his fucking name? Randy.
Oh, the other guy that was in the Vacation.
You can kill it if you want. Fucking Randy Quaid.
Oh, Quaid, the Quaid brothers. Yeah. No, it was. Remember that character Max Headroom? Remember him?
Fuck. Matt Frewer.
Yeah. He's Canadian.
Okay.
We'll send him a message.
Yeah. He I don't know if he smokes.
Well, I don't care if he smokes. We're mostly a hockey podcast, but whenever you said
Oh,
you come
right.
on,
I
mean, hey.
we're a hockey podcast that enjoys smoking.
Oh God. Yeah, there's another guy. I can't think of his name now.
Well, I'll give you
Gary Lane. He's a Toronto boy. He invents games, like Monopoly and those games, those board games.
Yeah.
That's what he's done. He had one out called Stoners or Dopers or something. It was a board game for people that got high, and you roll dice and you play it and everything. And he's from Toronto. He's actually, Gary was the one that turned me on to hockey. The Huff and Puff hockey, and he was one that ran the Frank Gehry hockey team that we had.
Okay.
So Gary Lane would make a perfect guest for you guys.
Okay.
And I don't know where you find him, but he's from Toronto.
I'll find him somewhere. But
Yeah,
off air,
Gary
I'll
Lane.
give you my number, and if you think of anybody, just shoot me a text. And
Well, just text me your number.
well, I don't have your number.
Yeah.
Well, then why am I talking to you?
I talked to you. I messaged you through an app.
Oh, so you don't have my number.
I don't have your number, but I'll give.
I shouldn't even be doing this.
Well, it's already been an hour now. We're a little late for that.
Well, I take it all back. Can I do that? Okay. Well, get a hold of Gary if you want some really good Canadian hockey news. Oh, he's a hockey guy, man. I can tell you one story. I'm not very proud of it, but Wayne Gretzky wanted to meet Cheech and Chong. And so this mutual friend of ours, who I can't think of his name right now, was a piano player. He set up the meeting. We're going to meet with Gretzky after he played the Kings at the Forum. So we go to the game, and the Kings, man, it was the game on Manchester or something. It was this incredible game that went back and forth, and all these incredible things happened, but the Kings won. Gretzky lost. And so Cheech and I both thought, oh man, he's not going to want to visit after, after a terrible loss like that. So we left without meeting him. And when Gretzky found out, he was so pissed. he it's a game. Who gives a shit? He wanted to meet Cheech and Chong and hang out with the heroes, man. But oh God, I remember thinking, oh, he won't want to meet us after that loss. But it's a game. It's just like us,
Yeah.
It's like remembering what's your favorite joint that you smoked,
Like I said, free is my favorite strand. But I'm always a fan. I like anything that has a little hint of citrus.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Never heard that one before.
No?
Yeah. I mean, I know we got.
I come from the days they used to put PCP, the horse tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll take the horse trank strand, please.
Yeah.
That would leave you wondering where a few days went,
Well, no fucking kidding.
Holy shit.
That's the era I came out of.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you ever got high?
Of course. It was, I've said it many, 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 many times because it's etched into my memory. It was in Calgary. It's in Calgary, Alberta, at a jazz club called, what's the jazz club called now, Tom? The Flat Five.
Flat Five.
Yeah, and a Chinese bass player, Eddie. Oh, come on, Eddie Fong. He just came from LA, and he handed me a Lenny Bruce comedy record and a joint.
Yeah.
It was like he was an angel that was told to get me on the right road. And I took the joint and I put it in my pocket. And so Eddie lit up one of his own. And that was the first time I ever smoked pot. I took a hit. Whoa. And I was listening to this jazz record, and I had to find out who it was. And it was Ornette Coleman. And he was playing a song called Lonely Woman. And that night changed my life. I think the next day I went and quit school. He got a job as a roofer, I think. I started my college career, the School of Hard Knocks.
Hey.
I love it. Love it.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's right.
Tommy, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. You've been an absolute fucking beauty.
Oh,
Thank
are
you
we
for
done?
coming on Average Jocks podcast.
Average Jock. I like that name, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Just
nothing-
don't put the word itch in there.
Yeah, well, we're talking with a soap company, and that was one of the proposed names for us to sponsor was Jock Itch. And I figured it wasn't a good marketing. They didn't like that, so we moved on from that name.
It should be Jock Ish.
Oh, yeah.
Jock Ish.
It's classy. Pinky's out on that. Jock Ish.
Yeah, Jock Ish.
Yeah.
Jock Ish. Yeah, Jock Ish. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
You're the-
Adios, amigos.
Yes, there.
All right. You take care, Tommy. Thanks for joining us. Have a happy 420 if you celebrate Canada's legalization. If not,
Okay.
we'll have you on again next year for this episode.
Okay. Happy 420.
Thanks. Take care, brother.